Hey guys, Buzz Glover here. Thanks for joining me again on video number 2 of this mini series about the success path. It's basically a kind of a game board that I devised for all the steps you need to do to get started in your commercial finance business. I appreciate you joining me. If you join me here today, there's a good chance that you're here because of could be a couple reasons. One, you're just not happy with what you're currently doing. You want to start a business. You've always wanted to start a business, but really didn't have the capital to do it. Possibly you are working in a job that you like and not making enough money, and feel like if you started something, you could get into the worlds of what most entrepreneurs go after, which is the idea of having a good lifestyle and making the money that you want to. And just to give you an idea, I'm somewhat of a serial entrepreneur. I've owned a number of businesses, if you've seen some of my other videos. But a good part of my start and the reason I was able to do other things was because of brokering business loans. So what I want to do today is to kind of go back, review real quickly. I'm going to go on my little virtual whiteboard here, and I'm going to blow up on the first video. Excuse me here, if I can do that. Let me get rid of all this stuff here. Okay, so let me blow this up here. On the first video, I kind of went over the mindset you need and some of the foundational things that you're going to need to get started in your business. Kind of the housekeeping type things are pretty simple. And I shouldn't say simple. I think the mindset is one of the biggest things. Hey, I want to start a business. I started the business. I'm going to be successful at the business. I've named my business. I've got it legal. I've formed an LLC. I've got my bank open. All the kind of foundational things that you need to do. And then I kind of get into education, and I tell you that, hey, you don't have to know everything about each product you can sell, but you kind of have to have some type of framework for each kind of product. Like I actually know everything pretty much about equipment finance, but I kind of just know the surface of commercial real estate, and I shouldn't say that I know quite a bit about commercial real estate, but accounts receivable financing, factoring, merchant cash advances, so forth. So my point is that know a little bit about everyone, and then once you get, or of each kind of niche that you could get into, and then you can expand on your knowledge later on once you kind of fall into what you're going to end up kind of focusing on. So there you have, that was what I did in the first video. And thank you for watching it, by the way. The one thing I do want to go over real quickly is the key legend that maybe I didn't cover as well in the first video. I kind of set up this game board in a way to kind of gauge what you needed to know about each step. One is if it's something you have to do over and over. The second thing is, can you just get it done and be done with it? The third thing is, well, is there any investment required? So in each block, I put one of these type keys if it pertained to it. And then the last thing is I color coded it by, did I view it as being very challenging, somewhat challenging, or get it done? By the way, the challenging things, I mean, once you learn it, they're not as challenging, but it's just where I see people starting to kind of fall down and not kind of move to the next step. So it's just, it's just from my experience in the coaching that I've done so far. So let's, one thing I do want to let you know, this whole success path PDF or file I'm going to make available on the fourth video. So if you watch all 4 videos on the fourth video, I'm going to make it available as a free download. I'm going to make it available at poster size. I have one sitting over here. I'm not going to grab it. A full poster size. I believe it's 24 by 36. I'm going to give it to you so you could send it out to a printer. I paid $50 to get it mounted to a hardboard. You could probably get it just output for $20. Or you can, I'm going to also give it to you as an 8.5 by 11, so you could just kind of pin it up on a board if you just want to keep it small. So stay tuned and watch each video, and on the fourth video, I'll make that available to you. So with that said, today, what I'm going to cover is, oh geez, why does I keep doing it? Okay, I'm going to cover are these 2 areas: how to find deals and how to package deals. I'm going to go through it step by step. One other thing I want to let you know is I try to put this in chronological order on what step to complete first and second. But as I review it, sometimes find that, hey, maybe I should have put that step a little further. The long and short of it is that as I go through it, maybe I'll mention that. But I've grouped them together and kind of where at what point in time you should do them. They might not necessarily be step by step by step. The other thing is there's no reason that you can't kind of multitask and try to complete a couple steps at a time, especially when you're waiting for things that are out of your control. So today I'm gonna go through how to find deals and then how to package them once you get them, and then in the next video I'm going to show you how to fund deals, how to match a funding source, and then what it's like to hit a home run and what you should be looking for so you can hit that home run. So let's get started today, and I'm going to hit erase all, and we'll start with I'm going to start basically your marketing, how to find deals. So this first one right here. You got to get your logo designed. But don't kind of sweat it with this. There's a website out there called Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, and for $5 you can get pretty much any logo you want done. Just so you know, that website used to be pretty pure, where it was all $5, but now there's some higher priced ones. The thing you want to do is to go by, there's I think a popularity filter on that. So pick somebody who's popular and that has, I would go, if you have to spend up to $20, go ahead and do it. In the overall scheme of things, there's not a lot of investment in this business. So go to Fiverr, get your logo designed. Matter of fact, this logo, well, I'm not going to show it to you. My BizLoanConsultants logo was done on Fiverr. So step number 19, start identifying existing assets. Now, if you don't have, let me explain what existing assets are. These are things that you should start thinking about in your mind that you already have kind of a head start in the business. And I'll give you an example. If you know any commercial bankers out there, start thinking about them. Actually start, getting them into your CRM database. Start thinking about if you know anyone that is a commercial realtor. You want to start thinking about them. You want to start thinking that this is a guy I want to contact. If you have experience in one type of niche, say you're really well-versed in construction or construction equipment, that's one of the things in the back of your mind. You want to start kind of pulling together what you think is going to be a good type of niche to go after. And a lot of that's going to have to do with the existing assets that you have. So it's more of a being mindful of what's out there for you, but you want to kind of hit the road running, and this is one of the areas that you might be able to do that. Okay, now this next one, I get tons of questions on this. Identify 10 niches that make sense. The reason I'm saying to choose 10 is because you're going to settle in on one or two or three. In my case, I settled in on IT equipment finance, computers and servers and all types of information technology. And I also did what they call contract furniture, which is cubicles, and they also call it system furniture, but basically cubicles. So now I don't want everyone to run out and do IT. As a matter of fact, I don't know that IT is all that great of a niche any longer. But what I want to do, there's tons and tons of niches, especially in equipment. But if you want to go after commercial real estate, you might want to start thinking about, do I want to go after self-storage? Do I want to go after multifamily? Do I want to go after strip malls? Start thinking and identifying what you want to go after, because if you kind of just don't know where you want to go, you're not going to get there. I want you to kind of say, all right, these are 10 things that I'm going to investigate that might make sense for me to go after and to start looking at to get this business up and running. So let me erase that. We'll go on to 21. Okay, this is one of those ones that might be out of order. Send out a PR release about your new business. Once again, on Fiverr, they have some services that can kind of broadcast your PR release that says, hey, I'm ABC Financial. If you have some type of experience, you might want to get some coaching or do some Google searches on how to write a good PR release. That's what I did. I think in my entire career, I've maybe written 4 PR releases, and I kind of copied others. But This is something that you kind of, this is one of those steps that might be out of order. You might want to wait until you're up and running and have a couple deals under your belt. But I just want to make you aware that eventually you want to send out a public relations release about you starting your new business. Okay, let's go to 22. This is going to be worth everything in my teaching to you because I'm going to help you really get your arms and your mind around how to what's your proposition, what's your add value proposition, what's going to make you different than the other companies out there. And I'm going to give you the secret right now. What most loan brokers are doing, and there's tons of them that do it, they'll go out and they'll sell on, we have low rates, we have fast turnaround time, and we do bad credits. That's kind of what the loan brokers who don't know what they're doing, in my mind, do. What I want you to do is to create a value proposition that kind of, first of all, shows that you are an expert in the niche that you're going after, that you know who the players are, that you understand their business. And finally, the biggest thing is you're going to help them sell more equipment, or you're going to help them sell more commercial real estate. So that's kind of the overall framework of your value proposition. You have to work it out so it's kind of personalized for your business. But what I don't want you to do is going out selling on rate and fast turnaround time and doing bad credits, because that's what if you sell yourself on doing bad credits, that's what you're going to get, bad credits. So okay, so let's move to 23. Now, this is another one that might be out of order. You want to create a pitch deck of some sort that shows your value add proposition, because occasionally you're going to have to get on conference calls and you're going to have to go, a pitch deck is just a PowerPoint presentation. And it's basically going to walk you through, hey, this is my company. This is what we specialize in. This is what we want to integrate financial solutions into your selling process. That's why you should be using my company, ABC Financial, or Newco Commercial Finance, whatever you end up naming your business. But you want to end up creating a pitch deck of some sort so you could pitch customers that you can do remotely. My personal feeling is this is still a relationship business. Your best bet is to get in front of a customer, but a lot of times nowadays it's more difficult to do that. So you're going to have to create some type of marketing material that allows you to do a WebEx type conference and show your value proposition in that presentation. Okay, right here. This one gets a lot of people stopped in their journey to starting the new business, because building a website is, it's not like anyone can sit down and build a website. And you need one. You don't need some highly polished website that you're taking credit applications or doing rate calculations or providing monthly payments. When you first start out, all you want to do is have something polished enough that shows that you're a legitimate business and that this is what you do. And this is kind of that you're not going to be using a Gmail account that tied to that website. Hey, I'm a legitimate business. Here's my website. So if you're working with a customer or a referral source and they go check out your website, you want to look like you're a legitimate business, which you will be. So, but a lot of people get hung up on this. In other videos, I have shown how to build your own website. I see a lot of people just get freaked out by it and they don't want to do it. I'm going to say, if you had to put a budget on it, because I have the dollar sign right in here, I would budget around $500. For that matter, if you're watching this video and you're having difficulty getting your website done, I might be able to kind of connect you with some people that do it. But I would recommend, matter of fact, if you're watching this video and I don't provide the link for my instructions on how to build a website, just email me and I'll send that link to you. So you got to build a website. Next thing is get business cards printed. Just very simply, just don't make a big deal out of it. Go to Vistaprint, probably for $20-25. You can get a nice card printed. Once again, if you need to, you could go to Fiverr to get them designed if you don't want to do the design yourself. But I think like Vistaprint kind of walks you through that whole process. Don't make a big deal. You're going to need business cards. A lot of times you're going to be in a face-to-face situation in this business, whether it's you calling on a funding source or calling on a business. What I always did was I try to set lunch appointments with referral sources, and then if I was driving by anyone who sold equipment, I'd always just pop in. And believe it or not, I still did cold calls. It's still that kind of business in a lot of respects, and if you do it, it'll pay off. Um, 26, get get brochures designed and printed. You don't necessarily have to get them printed if you have a nice colored printer. But once again, you could use Fiverr to get your brochures printed, and all it's going to do is take some of the things from the pitch deck and some of your other marketing materials. Show your value add proposition on why they should partner. And actually, you're going to need brochures for a couple different things. You're going to need a brochure for the referral sources that you're going after, and then you're also going to need kind of a general brochure for when a referral source gives you a client. It's going to be a different message to the borrower than it would be to a referral source. So, 27, get forms for each type of prospect equipment. In my computer, I have templates for if I get an equipment finance deal. It's basically just a checklist. It allows me to ask the right questions when I'm talking to a borrower. I think maybe we'll talk a little bit about this, about packaging deals, but it's a form that goes through for equipment finance, everything that I want to ask that customer. And then I have one for commercial real estate. And I think maybe I have one for accounts receivable finance. I do so few of those that maybe I don't. But the other thing is credit applications. You're going to need a different type of credit application than you would for equipment finance, than you would for commercial real estate, because they're what you're going to ask on that credit application is a little bit different. Which actually, I'm jumping ahead here, right here. Getting credit applications for each type of deal. Keep in mind too, in commercial real estate deals, a lot of times you're going to get a package together, and you're going to learn a lot from that client before you even ask for a credit application. What I found and like I said, I didn't. My primary business was not commercial real estate, although I did some deals in that area. What I found is that I would typically get packages together, start talking to banks, and then the bank at some point would say, hey, we need a credit app on these guys, and I would kind of go afterwards. But that's kind of getting into some of the nuances of the business, but it's just my experience. But you are going to need forms for each type of deal that you're doing. Let's go down here too, if I can do it. Okay, here's where we're starting to get into the real marketing. You're going to need to identify 25 prospect companies in each of your 10 niches. This is going to be time consuming. The nice thing about it is that the web with LinkedIn and all the different tools on the internet now makes it a lot easier than when I first got started, where the web was in its infancy and wasn't as robust with the amount of information about different players that work for different companies and so forth. But in this step, number 29, I'm saying just identify 25 companies. These aren't going to be the individuals that you're calling on. These are 25 companies that if you could start getting referrals from, whether it's equipment dealers or it's commercial real estate brokers or property managers or some bankers, commercial lenders, you want to just identify, and I'm giving you a number because I want you to kind of focus in on some goals. Identify 25 companies that if you started getting referrals from, it would take your business to where you want it to be, which is robust and making it a lot of money. So now if you look at 30 here, okay, 30 right here, identify as many salespeople as you can in the 25 prospect companies you are targeting. So now I want you to take the 25 companies that you identified over here and keep doing research on who works for them, whether it's the owner of an equipment dealer. In my case, like let's just say it was cubicles or system furniture or contract furniture, whatever you want to call it. If I identified all the contract furniture dealerships in the Pittsburgh area maybe even surrounding. Maybe I'd go to Harrisburg and Erie, and maybe I'd go pick a 100-mile radius. Um, if I identified all the dealerships within that area and I came up to 25, which is kind of my goal at that point, then I'm going to try to go do research on each one of those and find out who the owner of the dealership is, who the sales manager is, who all the salespeople are, and then these are the ones I want to focus in on and make connections. So that's number 30. Okay, and then as you're doing that, very simply, enter all these companies and the contacts as you're doing your research. And by the way, this research could take days. It's one of when you're first getting started, it's one of the harder parts. Once you identify them, then it's going to be a constant try to get them to refer business to you. But you want to enter all the information into your CRM. So, okay, this I have what I call a a 7-step touch program. And what I mean by this is I kind of broke it down as, hey, I want to first try to connect with this person on LinkedIn. I'm going to try to send them an email. I'm going to try to make a phone call to them. And I go through 7 steps that I try, 7 touches, because what happens is a lot of people reach out to somebody one time and they think that they're going to start getting referrals off them. And it just doesn't happen that way. In the beginning, it's a constant touch. It's a keep reaching out to people, keep connecting with them, let them know that you're a player in their industry, that you understand their business, and that you understand whatever niche that they're in, and that you want to help them sell more. And that's going to be your message through these continuous touches. I call it the 7-touch program. And as time goes on, they're going to start to get worn down on, who's this Buzz Glover guy keeps calling me. And eventually they're going to have a deal that goes south with them with their primary funding source, and they're going to give you a call. So just don't think in the beginning, it's a lot of touches. Don't think you're going to reach out to somebody one time, connect with them on LinkedIn, and they're going to start sending you business. It's a constant nurturing process. And that's one of the critical steps in this business, by the way. Okay, begin closing for appointments. Now, as you're doing this 7-touch program, the nicest way, and what typically happens is that exactly what I said previously, is that someone has a deal they're working on that they're having trouble getting funded, and that's going to be your first introduction into meeting some of these people. So make sure that while you're doing that, even if it's a terrible deal, you want to keep nurturing that relationship. And I would always be closing them for appointments. I used to do lunches all the time. It gets expensive, but it was worth it to me because I think when you're sitting down eating with somebody, they tend to open up to you, and you become friends with them, which is the ultimate goal. But what I'm telling you is you're doing the 7-touch program. You want to start closing for appointments, whether it's on the phone appointment or a WebEx appointment, or if it's an in-person appointment. If you're doing local business, obviously it's better to close for in-person appointments. If you're doing national business, you're going to have to close for WebEx. Okay, let's go to 34. You want to start looking at local or national trade shows you can attend. Just to give you an example, construction. I hate to use construction because everyone goes after it, but I mean, here in Pittsburgh, they have the Pittsburgh Builders Association, I think is what they call it. They have golf outings, they have trade shows, they have meetings. You might want to become a member. You want to start identifying in the niches that you're in, what the trade shows are out there. I owned car washes, and there were guys in the finance business who did equipment finance that were at every show. And they became known among all the car wash owners or aspiring car wash owners that, hey, we're one of the go-to companies when it comes to car wash equipment. So that's kind of the person you want to be within whatever niche that you go after. But you want to start identifying when those shows are and if you want to attend. Okay, 35. Learn the jargon, products, and players and niches. This is once again becoming a player within the niche that you're going after. You want to, if you're a generalist and you're doing all different types of business, this is not as important. But what I found is that, I guess the best example is if your knee was all busted up and would you prefer to go to your primary care physician, or would you prefer to go to a knee doctor, which I don't even know if exists, but and maybe it's a terrible example, but you get the point. The when people perceive that you specialize in their type of business, they're going to be much more prone to going to a specialist in their business than they are someone who's just another broker out there. So, and I built a whole business around that, and I truly believe that. So, learn the jargon, learn the products. If you're going into crane finances, you want to know who all the manufacturers are, what types of cranes are out there, who all the players are. Who you're going to start learning names. You're going to start dropping names when you're in conversations and so forth. So, attend the trade shows in your niche. So the ones that you have identified earlier, you want to start attending those and making your face known and start meeting people. Once again, that's kind of a thing that you can do down the road if you're on a shoestring budget, but be mindful of it. And that's something that's ongoing too. You want to, it doesn't happen overnight. You want to continue to go to these trade shows and show your face, and eventually the business will start. The referrals will start coming. Okay, this one is kind of key too. I make friends with your referral sources. The relationships are key, and I say that because the best referral sources I had were guys that I went to Steeler games with, that I went out and had beers with, and did, like, I guess the point I was making is that kind of make friends with them, and the business actually becomes much more fun, and you'll get way more referrals. And that's one way referral sources started using me as their go-to versus their second go-to, which most brokers play in. So as you're making these relationships, and as long as you can treat their clients and you're very responsive, if you have this friendship, then those referral sources will end up being your lifeline in your business. Where you can wake up in the morning and not have to worry about going out and finding business. It doesn't happen overnight, but as you're nurturing those relationships, go play golf. I used to play a lot of golf with people, and like I said, if you're just getting started and you're sitting here thinking, oh man, I'm not going to go, I can't do all this, or if this is a side hustle for you, these are things that you're going to kind of have to work into your business the best you can. But I'm just telling you, if you make friends with these referral sources, it will take your business to a much higher level. Okay, we're getting done here. 38, update your LinkedIn account. And this you might want to do this earlier. Update your LinkedIn account to show that you own this commercial finance business. And then also make sure that you claim all your other media. So if you have ABC Commercial Finance Company that you named your business, make sure you go to Facebook and that you own that name. And then you go to Twitter and that you own that name, and LinkedIn, that you start a company LinkedIn page. Once again, this could have gone down into the foundational items, but being that it is marketing, I put it in the marketing spot. So, okay, so there you have find deals, which, like I said in a lot of my other videos, the three foundational things are find deals, package deals, fund deals. That's the three things you need to master in this business and do over and over to make decent commission. So now the one other thing I said I was going to do in this business, or in this video, was to go through package deals. So let's just real quickly, what I'm doing is taking two parts of the business and putting it in one video here. What's going to happen when you start doing some of those find deals things, identifying companies, reaching out to them, doing the 7-touch programs, you will you'll start getting deals in. A lot of times you'll start getting bad deals in, as much as I hate to say it. If you're out in a lunch with somebody, with an equipment guy, there's a good chance that either him or her or somebody in her office will have a deal they're working on that they're having trouble getting funded. So when that deal comes in, you're going to have to learn how to package it. And packaging any type of loan brokering deal is similar. And let me just give you I'll give you kind of some rules. In equipment finance, you're going to find a lot of banks and funding sources are application only, up to either $75,000, and some up to $100,000, some up to $150,000, and occasionally you'll find a funding source that goes up to say $250,000 for an application only, which means all your customer has to do is fill out an application, send it back to you, and then you send it to that funding source. They decide whether they want to do the deal or not. So those are easy. What you're going to find, though, if you want to have more choices, or you know that the deal has some hair on it, that it's it's going to be difficult to get funded, and you're going to have to show it to a bunch of funding sources. Typically, what you're going to require in every deal is the last 3 years of tax returns or audited financials if it's a bigger company. Tax returns is kind of a general rule that you can always go to, but last 3 years tax returns, and then what they call the current year interim statement, which is kind of their internal books. A lot of times it's on QuickBooks. It'll just basically say, here's how much cash we brought in this year, profit and loss statement, income statement, but it's interim statements. You need that, and you need the tax returns or the audited financials, and you'll need a credit application. And that's pretty much the standard that you're going to find on almost all deals. Now, when you get into commercial real estate deals, after you get past that first step, there's a good chance that they're going to start asking you for more information, your funding sources. They're going to ask for rent rolls. They're going to ask for, what a rent roll is how leased up is the place? How are the current tenants paying? How much vacancy is in the building, and so forth. These are all part of the packaging, but sometimes that trickles in. But a basic package is credit application and tax returns, last 3 year tax returns, and their current year interim statement. So that's kind of all. I mean, I went out and did this business for years without knowing much more than that. Like I said, as time goes on, the funding sources will always ask you for the additional information. Then you just ask your borrower. The last thing I have in this packaging deals, and this is big, and this is number 40 here, learn how to do bullet point write-ups. Bullet point write-ups means that you don't want a funding source. You're going to have to do a write-up on all your deals. Hey, here's how much the customer's looking for. Here's how they want to finance it over this term. They've been in business for 30 years. If there was some type of problem with the deal, you want to put that in the write-up. But you don't want to put this in paragraph form. You want to put it in bullet points. So a funding source or a banker can look at that and just know everything about the deal in this short little write-up that you do about everything you learned about that borrower. And they can make a real quick decision as to whether it meets their requirements for funding the deal. A lot of times people have me look at deals. And by the way, don't start sending me a bunch of deals because I don't typically co-broker, but they put it in paragraph form, and it's kind of mind-boggling for me to kind of figure everything out to give them advice. So got to put it in bullet points and show me what all the parts of the deal are. So that's been, let's see how long we've been on here. Got over 30 minutes, and I'm trying to keep these videos down. So that's kind of what, that's actually a lot of information, and a lot of good information for you to get started. So the one thing I always say is start taking imperfect action, start getting all the foundational things done. When you jump up into starting to find deals, just go through these steps one by one, get started, and take imperfect action. And, the next thing you'll know, you'll be in business, and you'll start filling your pipeline with deals, and you'll be able to start funding deals and making some pretty decent commissions. So I'm not going to get into anything else in this video. Please stay tuned for video number 3 and number 4. Like I mentioned, number 4, I'm going to provide a free download of this. In the next video, let me see here. I'm just going to cover how to start matching funding sources to the packages that you've created after a deal comes in. And then I'm also going to talk about hitting a home run in this business and what that's like. So appreciate you joining me here. Longer than I like to go. And I hope you'll join me in the next videos, because I really want to get you started in your business, or if you're already in business, to take your business to a higher level. Appreciate you joining me here. Buzz Glover, Biz Loan Consultants. See you next time.